We're live here. What's your perspective here, LENSEC Live? And I have a really great crew today to talk about RSM, remote status monitoring. You're going to learn about what it is, how it works, and how it really will make a more efficient way of knowing how your camera system is working. And I have on the program, I have Suzanne Caruana. She is from our support team. I have Ed Rister, Director of Operations. I have Director of Sales, Michael Trask. Guys, thanks for all stopping by today.
Thank you.
Sure,
Thanks,
Neil.
Awesome. So I'm going to go with the first question. I'm going to point to Suzanne and tell me, what is RSM, remote status monitoring?
I think Ed would like to talk about that first.
I can do that. RSM, it stands for Remote Systems Monitoring or Remote Status Monitoring. I like to reference it as Remote Systems Monitoring because I think it's more encompassing than just monitoring up and down server and cameras, but it's more of a reflection of and monitoring of the performance of the overall video surveillance system that our clients have.
Ed, a question for you. A lot of people in the industry are familiar with software maintenance packages when they're dealing with video management software manufacturers. How is remote status monitoring different than software maintenance?
Okay, on the software maintenance, generally that is, any patches, any bug fixes, upgrades, all of that is kind of encompassed in the software maintenance, where the RSM is, an additional service that allows clients, partners to utilize our resources who are technically, in tune with this process to allow their resources to do other things for them that are more productive and more in line with their business structure. And our personnel are available at all times, monitoring all throughout the day for issues that may arise. And so therefore, it really is a utilization of a technical resource that they wouldn't normally have or would have to acquire in addition to their normal staff.
Interesting. And I think it's something that it brings that extra value. And when we talk, Suzanne, about with support, what do you think of the value of this product?
I think it's very valuable to the client. Most of the time, the people who are monitoring cameras, number one, aren't necessarily monitoring the system itself, the overall computer system or the operation of the software. They're just looking at security cameras. So this service is of great benefit because we are a team of dedicated professionals, and it's our job to maintain these PVMS installations. If you want, I can go into kind of the way we do it right now.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Suzanne, I was going to ask you, sorry, Neil, I was going to ask you, give us a little bit more specifics on some of the, Ed was talking about it and you briefly touched on it's the whole system, but what kind of things are you guys looking at or looking for?
If anybody has ever worked with computers, you know that computer systems often need a little bit of TLC to keep functioning properly. And PVMS as a software package installed on servers will continue to function properly if we take good care of the computers it's running on. So there's a variety of different things that we have to watch out for that can affect the performance of the PVMS software. If the C drive fills up on your main server, of course, the operating system will shut down. This can occur for a variety of different reasons that have nothing to do with PVMS. So it's just something we have to look for. One of our main tools that we use is the health monitoring service in PVMS itself. It has the ability to issue email alerts anytime the status of different conditions will change. We also pay attention to the archiving and the archiving retention. So like if your disk fills up for some reason, even though we have factors in place to keep a certain amount of disk cleared so that archives will continue to write, there could be factors that could affect that outside of the PVMS software. And so we can get alerted that disk is filling up or has crossed a certain threshold. The same with network utilization. When the network utilization goes above a certain point, it could indicate some sort of heavy traffic on the network that could affect the archiving and streaming of the cameras. So
See,
that's just,
yeah, I think that's so important to have that, because a lot of times the security director or the security team, Suzanne's too busy to really be monitoring all those things at all times. And they need
exactly.
somebody to be there to remind them of certain things happening. I know that Perspective VMS does a lot of that through workflows, but this is an extra reminder that's powerful because you guys are monitoring it as well, not just the security team, which can get caught up in so many other day-to-day activities.
Exactly. I mean, this is our job that we do all day, every day, as well as help other clients out with issues. We can get notified in a distributed server type of installation if a server goes offline or if the PVMS services stop. And this is an immediate emergency situation because then nothing's archiving, nothing's streaming. So that's some of the things that we do.
Suzanne, question for you. It sounds like too, it's more than just, it's not simply just, oh, did a camera go offline? I mean, a camera could be online, and you're able to view it live, but that doesn't mean it's recording anywhere, right? So it sounds like there's a lot more to this than simply just saying, hey, your camera's online or your camera's offline. It sounds like if you can maybe just dig a little bit deeper into some of the other things that you are looking at, because just being honest, that a lot of systems can say, yeah, the camera's offline.
Right. Yeah. And that is actually one of the nice features about the health monitoring done by PVMS is that even if a camera is still streaming, if it stops archiving, we get alerted. So it could be totally invisible to the security people or whoever's monitoring the cameras because they're watching live streams all day. So they don't know that something stopped archiving until they go look for our archive and it's not there. We also have alerts for the database. The PVMS database is a critical part of the software package. And if anything happens that causes it to not perform correctly, or for those using SQL Express, there's a definite size limit. We get alerted when it starts approaching a critical size. And then, of course, depending on the level of access we have to a client system, we can also proactively go in and take care of these issues. And that's all part and parcel in the remote monitoring service that we offer.
See, that's so powerful. And then, Michael, that was a great point you added. It's not just being a camera not working, because our solution can tell that right off the bat very easily. But the ability of things like archiving, and Ed, tell how important that is in the process of as a security team to monitor if the camera's no longer archiving.
Yeah, I was going to add on to what Suzanne was saying. A lot of times it's not even a failure of hardware or a malfunction within the system. We've identified wherein a partner or a customer of theirs has added a more advanced camera model, and the settings of those models have a much higher frame rate or resolution, that will impact the storage and the length of time that we can archive. We're able to identify those kind of scenarios also, which has been probably one of our biggest things that we identify from an archiving standpoint outside of a drive failure. So, it's very important that, customers understand that, it's not just, having somebody watching their monitors for, down cameras, but it is, a more in-depth analysis of their system that we're taking. And so that really helps us help our, partners, because that's, when we say partner, that's really what we're trying to, provide, is a true partnership where we're providing a service that they would have to have somebody dedicated to. We have a team dedicated to it, and that allows them to really get out there and do what they're supposed to be doing on their business end.
Michael, on the sales side of this, how important is it for our customers to have something like this?
Yeah, well, I want to touch base, Neil, on a couple things that were just mentioned. The specialization of labor, right? Suzanne and her colleagues within the support team at LENSEC, this is what they're trained to do. They know what to do. Some of these other people at these, either maybe at the integrators, they're great at installing systems and getting them up and running, but maybe they don't have the bandwidth per se, the employee bandwidth or the internal staff to be looking at this stuff. So that's a great value as far as the sale adds to the value of the product. Having a specialized trained set of eyes that know what types of things to be looking for and what types of signals they're starting to see that may indicate, hey, this hard drive is going to fail, or this sensor on this camera is going to fail, or just different types of things that they may be getting through some of these diagnostic tools and reports that they're looking at that could point them in the right direction. Something else I wanted to point out, and Suzanne mentioned earlier about working with the partner, or I think you mentioned working with the system and getting it up and running. I'd just like to clarify, though, as far as our reselling partners are concerned, we don't immediately just, we work through our systems integration partners, the reseller partners of the LENSEC Perspective VMS solution, before we just go and start working with the end user customer themselves. We want to make sure that systems integrator is completely up to date and brought up, has the chance to fix it themselves, or we can, in conjunction with them, work with the end user to make sure that system is, or that issue is corrected, whatever it may be in that instance.
I was just going to say, our policy from a support standpoint is to work with our partner, with their end client, not to circumvent the partner in working in a system. We're always in collaboration, and that's our policy, and that's the way our processes are designed.
Yeah, that's a great point, Ed. I mean, at LENSEC, we value partnerships, right? So we have our reseller partners, and that is a true partner. So we're working together with them to make sure that end user is taken care of. It is their customer that's using our solution. They brought that customer to LENSEC, to Perspective VMS in most cases, and we're working in conjunction with them to make sure that they are taken care of. It is, we are not in no way, sometimes, partners, if they hear that the manufacturer is working with the end user, they get weary of that, and they think that, oh, are you just going to try to steal my customer from me? And that is not the case at LENSEC. We value the true partnership with our reselling partners.
Suzanne, do you have any stories to tell without giving names of how RSM's helped both the relationship with the end user and us in customer support?
There's very often cases where we will get a call, cameras not functioning properly, or it's not archiving or something like that, we immediately work to fix it. And lo and behold, something has happened, and they find a video, and thank goodness we fixed the camera, because somebody committed atrocities, or crimes or vandalism, or there was an accident and they had to get a license plate number, and that's where it really comes in handy. So
I think one of our most notorious cases that we reference often is one of our um, end clients, a camera went down. We identified it, and within a 30-minute window of that camera going down, notified the partner. They had a technician remote in. They resolved that camera issue, and literally within 4 hours, there was a crime where the suspect that was caught on that camera had actually, shot somebody, and we were able to, or I say we, our system was able to provide the evidence of the perpetrator in order to have the information they needed to prosecute. So that's one of those rare occasions, but it does really kind of highlight what it is that we do and what this product offers. Because had we've been, if the customer would have been relying on their internal employees, maybe they weren't available at the time, but that was a key in the, circumstance where our monitoring really, helped in a big way.
And see,
Yeah.
and that's important. And Michael, I know you have a story as well.
Well, I was just gonna to mention what Suzanne and Ed were talking about. It shows the value of, we've all probably had situations or conversations with people where, oh yeah, that crime was committed, or this incident happened, or we need to go back. There was a slip and fall, and we need to get the information to provide it to insurance or whatever. And you go back, and there's no video there for whatever reason. And in this stories that both Suzanne and Ed are referring to, the proactive nature of the remote status monitoring. You're proactively being notified of potentially things happening. They can be taken care of immediately, so that in this case, the extreme case, we should say, where it helped catch shortly a couple hours after the camera was brought back online by the technician remoting in, that it was able to capture a murder suspect, and the camera was in the right place where it was able to get a license plate off of a car. They were able to provide that information, and they searched that car, and within a couple hours they tracked down that person. But that's the value of the system being proactively looked at and not used in a reactionary manner, where a lot of video surveillance systems throughout the world are used simply just reactionary. And
Exactly.
the value of the remote status monitoring is it's proactively looking and monitoring at the, as Ed likes to refer to it as, the remote system monitoring, because you're looking at the entire system. But you're proactively looking at that system to make sure that you don't have those gotcha moments,
Right.
where you don't have, because video is used not simply just for security and safety, but it's used in training, it's used in operations, it's used in all kind of other areas of the business, not simply just for security purposes. So you want to be able to have that video out of your system to be able to go back and review and use as a teaching moment for employees, or whatever the incident may be.
When you're looking at COVID-19, especially at this time period where a lot of workers, even security at times, are working off campus, especially if they have multiple campuses or multiple facilities, this is such an important thing, because at times you're going to miss specific things, or different things are happening, and you want to make sure that you can utilize PVMS in its best way, and not just in a way where, okay, we have all these tools and we're utilizing them, but what if we're caught off guard and we really need that information to someone to notify us? And Suzanne, how thankful are those customers that are using RSM, and in a way, really thankful that they have this?
Oh, I think most of our clients are very thankful, and we usually get a lot of positive feedback and are relied on quite heavily, especially some of our larger clients that have way too many cameras for a handful of people to deal with every day. They really rely on us quite heavily to keep them up and running. And especially, you mentioned in this time of the pandemic, um, many facilities aren't being adequately supervised. Um, Playgrounds aren't being supervised. There's burglary and vandalism and accidents, and they're dependent more than ever on keeping the security camera system operational and functioning properly. So yes, we get relied on pretty heavily, and we get a lot of positive feedback.
Well, our support team is phenomenal. And that's one thing I've tried to always relay to potential people that want to be partners with us, or customers, that a lot of the other video management softwares do not have this hands-on approach when it comes to support. And Suzanne, you have to be commended. We've not had a show just on the support team. We've talked about it, but not had you as a guest. But you do tremendous work, and your team does tremendous work. And thank you for what you do, because that's how we continue to grow as a company, is our support. Without support, a product does not work to its best ability, right, Michael?
That's correct. And once again, it's, yeah, we rely heavily on our support staff, such as Suzanne and her colleagues, and we are constantly getting positive feedback from the end users, from the reseller partners about the support that they get and the top-notch support that they get. And it's because of that, and once again, the specialization of labor, and they know what they're looking for. They're focused on the VMS, and we're having this conversation to bring to the light the remote status monitoring solution that we offer. And we're going to be doing a promotion. We're going to kick off a promotion as well, based on this conversation, and making it available to any new users of our system. So I can touch base on that now if you'd like, Neil.
Absolutely.
So any new deployment, any new paid deployment of Perspective VMS, we're doing a limited time offer where we're going to give any new deployment 30 days free of remote status monitoring. So they'd be able to experience the kind of things that Suzanne has talked about today, that her and her colleagues have a very keen, eye for, and they're looking at these reports and these on demand, these things that are coming up on demand. It's not just a, hey, go pull a report every so often, but they're being notified immediately of certain items so that they can address those appropriately in the time needed with those integrators. So we are offering that for 30 days for free. So you can go to lensec.com/sales, and you can reach out to your regional sales manager that covers your region if you're an integration partner of ours and you have questions about that, or if you're a potential end user that wants to learn more about Perspective VMS and this remote status monitoring feature that we offer as well. We'd be more than happy to share the solution with you and talk a little bit more in depth about the types of things that are covered in the remote status monitoring offering.
And when you talk about, again, camera systems, and you talk about the surveillance in general, is not just a security, especially with COVID-19. It has a lot to do with other types of logistics, from management to everything involving video management. So it's so important to have that solution working at its best level. And that's what RSM is able to do. And again, thank you guys for stopping by, and really good conversation. Now I know more than I did before about RSM, and it's because of experts like you in security tell me about this product, and it's something else that I can let people know about in certain ways. So people who want to check out all the videos that we have available of our What's Your Perspective, you can go to lensec.com/live and check out all the different videos, and make sure to tune in on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central Time every week to What's Your Perspective. And check us out on all different social media sites. And I appreciate everyone stopping by, and look forward to next week's guest, as we're going to be talking to the past with another great security expert. And check out our social media to know who's coming up next. So take care, guys, and we will talk next week.
Thank you.